Not everything our ancient ancestors left behind can be explained. Archaeologists spend half of their lives searching for answers, piecing together clues from civilizations that lived long before us. Most of the time, they eventually figure out what they're looking at. But sometimes there are moments when even they can't believe what they've just discovered. From mysterious texts that no one can read to the infamous demon wall of Saharad Church, these ancient finds don't just hide a mystery, but secrets that may never fully come to light. Let's start off this countdown with number 15. The missing Mayan masterpiece. Archaeologists lose artifacts from time to time, but very few disappear under circumstances as strange as the lost Mayan lintel. The story begins in 1950 when Dana Lamb photographed an intricately carved stone lintel dating to 773 AD somewhere near the border between Mexico and Guatemala. Unfortunately, he failed to record its exact location, a mistake that would haunt researchers for decades. The photograph revealed a remarkable work of Maya craftsmanship, apparently removed from its original setting by looters who may have abandoned it because the stone was simply too heavy to transport. For years, the lintel remained little more than a mystery captured in a single photograph. Then, in 1968, it unexpectedly surfaced in a private collection in Maine. By 1982, it had been transferred to a storage facility in Zurich. After that, the trail went cold. Some experts believe the carving may have been created by a Maya sculptor named Mayui, but there are others who think it was hidden by elites with a purpose. Without access to the missing artifact itself, however, these theories remain impossible to verify. If the lintel still exists, it could be sitting in a warehouse, a private collection, or virtually anywhere in the world. Number 14. Kanishka casket. The Kanishka casket is one of those rare artifacts whose reputation comes as much from what is missing as from what still survives. Crafted from gilded copper in 127 AD during the reign of the Kushan Emperor Kanishka, the container was created to hold relics associated with Buddha. Ancient accounts describe it as housing 3 fragments of Buddha's bones, although that claim can no longer be tested. Those relics were removed long ago and then taken to Burma, where scientific examination is prohibited. As a result, the central question attached to the casket has remained unanswered for more than a century. The object survives, but the evidence needed to confirm its greatest claim does not. But then, the casket resurfaced in 1908, when archaeologists found it beneath the ruins of the Great Kanishka Stupa. Its lid carries a detailed image of Buddha seated on a lotus while receiving tribute from divine figures. The relics may be gone, but the mystery tied to them refuses to fade. But aside from the mystery, this thing looks incredible. Number 13. The inscription left behind during a siege. There's a blocked staircase inside Sasis Castle that concealed a remarkable piece of history for centuries. When archaeologists finally gained access to the passage in 2020, they discovered an inscription dating to the 16th century carved directly into the stone walls. The markings included the initials W Kva, a traditional house mark, and a phrase that translates as, "If God is with us, nobody can stand against us." House marks were commonly used by people of modest social standing who possessed neither noble titles nor coats of arms, suggesting that the author was not among the castle's highest-ranking residents. Historical evidence places the inscription within the period of Ivan the Terrible's siege of the fortress in 1577. If that connection is correct, the message was likely created during one of the most dangerous moments in the castle's history. The words survived. The identity of the person who carved them into the wall did not. Number 12. Sechin Bajo Mysterious Symbols. A series of mysterious carvings discovered at Peru's Sechin Bajo complex has fueled debate among researchers for years. Some believe the markings could represent one of the earliest known attempts at written communication. If that interpretation proves correct, it would force historians to reconsider long-held ideas about where symbolic language first emerged. The carvings consist of weird lines and patterns etched into stone. Their purpose is still uncertain, One of the most controversial interpretations comes from researcher Derek Cunningham, who argues that the symbols record astronomical observations and may have been used to communicate information about monument construction. He points to similar patterns reported from locations as distant as Scotland, China, and Cyprus. According to this theory, ancient cultures may have shared a symbolic system rooted in observations of the sky. Many archaeologists remain skeptical and caution against drawing broad conclusions from visual similarities alone. But the age and complexity of the carvings continue attracting all eyes. Number 11. The volcano pyramid no one can explain Peru is home to some of the most impressive ancient structures ever built. But El Volcan stands apart from all of them. Nobody questions whether the pyramid is man-made. The real mystery is why its builders gave it the shape of a volcano. At the top of the structure sits a crater-like depression that makes the entire monument look like a volcanic peak. Well, that would not be particularly strange if volcanoes existed nearby, but they actually don't. The people who built the structure more than 2,000 years ago had no obvious reason to model a pyramid after something they likely never saw for themselves. The mystery deepens inside the crater, where archaeologists found a collapsed staircase leading to a central hearth built into a mud-plastered floor. Evidence shows fires were lit there repeatedly over many centuries, with some activity continuing into the 1500s. That means the site remained important long after its construction. Some experts suspect connections to celestial events, especially because several total solar eclipses were visible from the region during later centuries. But even so, no theory explains why this unusual pyramid was built or what role it played for those people who gathered there. Number 10. Sun Altar in Xinjiang. Back in 2017, experts studying a remote region of western China identified a structure unlike anything previously found in the area. This circular monument measures nearly 500 feet across and is believed to be around 3,000 years old. Archaeologists quickly noticed something unusual about its construction. The stones used to build it do not originate from the surrounding landscape. Subtle marks preserved in the terrain suggest they were transported from considerable distances, possibly with the help of horses and large groups of people. Such an effort would have required planning, coordination, and a strong reason to justify the work. Many researchers believe the site functioned as a ceremonial altar connected to sun worship. Its concentric design resembles the layout of traditional yurts associated with steppe cultures farther north. The discovery has sparked debate because it hints at cultural connections that may have existed long before the Silk Road linked distant regions together. The monument continues challenging assumptions about ancient movement, influence, and exchange. Number 9. The Egyptian seal found by a birdwatcher. Some archaeological discoveries arrive after years of planning and excavation. Others appear through pure chance. A remarkable example surfaced in 2016 when a birdwatcher exploring the area around Tel Dor on Israel's Mediterranean coast noticed an unusual object lying among the ground surface. The artifact turned out to be an ancient Egyptian scarab seal dating back approximately 3,700 years. Archaeologists who examined the piece connected it to Egypt's 13th dynasty, a period marked by political instability and shifting power structures. Scarab seals often served administrative purposes and were frequently associated with officials of considerable importance. An inscription on the artifact suggests its owner held authority over the royal treasury, placing that individual among the highest-ranking non-royal figures within the Egyptian administration. Such an object would not have belonged to an ordinary traveler or merchant. Its presence at Tel Dor remains open to interpretation. The seal may have been lost during an official visit centuries ago. Or maybe someone sold it. Who knows? Now, let's move to Number 8. Trojan horse fragments. The story of the Trojan horse has occupied an unusual place between history and mythology for centuries. The destruction of Troy is supported by archaeological proof, but the giant wooden horse described in ancient literature has generally been treated as legend. but that discussion changed in 2014 when archaeologists working at the site of ancient Troy uncovered remains of a large wooden structure. Among the discoveries were substantial timber planks and support beams dating to approximately 3,200 years ago, placing them within the period traditionally associated with the Trojan War. The location of the find immediately attracted attention. Timber of this type was commonly used in shipbuilding, yet these remains were recovered within the ancient settlement rather than along a coastline or harbor. The evidence falls far short of proving the existence of the famous horse, and many historians remain skeptical. Even so, this find introduced enough uncertainty to revive a debate that many scholars considered settled long ago. Number 7. The Mima Mounds. A few miles outside Olympia, the landscape begins doing something it shouldn't. Across the Mima Prairie, hundreds of grassy mounds rise from the ground in no obvious pattern, creating one of the strangest natural mysteries in the U.S. Some stand only a few feet high, while others stretch nearly 30 feet across. While they look artificial, which is exactly why people have spent years arguing about their origin. Early explorers believed they were ancient burial sites, but excavations revealed nothing except densely packed soil. Other researchers suggested earthquakes, glacial activity, or unusual erosion processes. One of the most debated theories claims generations of gophers slowly built the formations over centuries, though many scientists remain unconvinced. The problem is that every explanation seems to answer one question while creating several more. Despite decades of study, no theory has managed to solve the mystery. Number 6. The child buried with a stone in its mouth. Ancient cemeteries often reveal unusual burial customs, but few discoveries have attracted as much attention as the remains uncovered at Lugnano in central Italy. Archaeologists examining a 5th-century burial ground encountered the skeleton of a child whose mouth had been deliberately sealed with a large stone before burial. The individual was around 10 years old and had likely suffered from malaria, a disease that devastated parts of the region during late antiquity. At first sight, the placement of the stone appears disturbing, but the act seems to have reflected fear rather than cruelty. Many communities throughout history developed traditions intended to prevent the dead from returning to trouble the living. In this case, the stone may have been intended to stop the child from spreading illness after death. Similar beliefs have appeared in different forms across Europe for centuries. The cemetery itself contained other unusual objects, including animal remains and ritual items connected to protective practices. Number 5. Demon Wall of Sohrab Church. For many years, visitors to Sohrab Church were captivated by a bizarre collection of painted faces hidden high above the interior walls. Twisted expressions, distorted features, and freaky figures earned the artwork a reputation as the infamous Demon Wall. The story seemed simple. During restoration work in 1941, conservator Gerhard Gottes, as per accounts, found images unlike anything previously documented inside the church. Historians, artists, and curious visitors accepted the discovery for decades. Then the entire story unraveled. Investigations completed in 2021 revealed that the supposed medieval artwork was never medieval at all. Gottes himself had painted the grotesque figures during restoration, altering older religious imagery and covering genuine artwork that had survived for centuries. The revelation shocked many people, but it also created a new mystery. Why would a respected conservator risk his reputation by fabricating something so elaborate? No explanation was ever found. Gottes died without revealing his motives, leaving behind a puzzle every bit as intriguing as the false artwork itself. Number 4. Ohio's mysterious Owl Pipes. Ohio is home to some of the most important archaeological sites in North America, but few discoveries are as unusual as the famous owl pipes. These intricately carved smoking pipes were created more than 2,000 years ago and remain unlike anything seen elsewhere. Although animal-shaped pipes featuring raccoons, toads, and other creatures have been uncovered in the region, the owl example is one of its own kind because of its rarity and apparent importance. Some researchers believe they belonged to tribal shamans, with each animal representing a personal spirit guide. Supporting that theory is a curious detail: every carved creature faces toward the smoker rather than outward. The materials raise even more questions. The distinctive flint clay used to create the owl pipes originated in northern Illinois, while other ceremonial pipes from nearby sites were crafted from stone sourced in Michigan. Such findings suggest long-distance trade networks existed across prehistoric North America, though exactly how those connections operated remains a mystery that archaeologists still debate today. Number 3. Orango Birdman cult high above the Pacific Ocean, on the edge of a volcanic crater, stands the ancient village of Orango. Today it is one of Easter Island's most important archaeological sites, but centuries ago it served as the center of a rare tradition known as the Birdman cult. Each year, representatives from competing clans took part in a dangerous contest that tested endurance, courage, and determination. Participants descended cliffs, entered shark-filled waters, and swam to the small islet of Motunui in search of the season's first sooty tern egg. Reaching the island was only half the challenge. The egg had to survive the return journey intact. Success brought prestige, but not to the competitor himself. The title of Tangata Manu was awarded to the sponsor who backed the victorious participant. For the following year, that individual and his family enjoyed elevated status within the community. Petroglyphs scattered throughout Orango preserve fragments of this tradition, but many aspects of the ceremony remain difficult to understand today. Number 2. The Enchanted Valley figures deep within Chile's Valle del Encanto. Ancient carvings cover massive stone surfaces, leaving behind questions that researchers still cannot answer. Most archaeologists attribute the artwork to the El Mole culture, which lived in the region more than 2,300 years ago. However, some researchers believe the story may stretch back much further. Evidence suggests Paleo-American groups may have occupied parts of this region nearly 13,000 years ago, raising the possibility that at least some of the carvings predate the El Mole culture entirely. Many figures appear human, while others seem linked to religious traditions that later spread throughout the Andes. Several carvings have even been compared to representations of Viracocha, the creator deity of Inca mythology. One image stands apart from all the others. It depicts a figure with an unusually large head and oversized eyes, a look many people compare to the popular image of a gray alien. Whether it represents a deity or a spirit remains unknown, and the valley continues to guard its secrets. Number 1. Qin Shi Huang's stone armor stone is probably the last material most people would choose for armor. It sounds impractical, heavy, and far too rigid to serve a soldier in combat. That assumption begins to fall apart inside the vast mausoleum complex of China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang, where archaeologists uncovered a collection of armor unlike anything previously found from the ancient world. The pieces date back roughly 2,200 years and consist of hundreds of carefully shaped stone plates connected with bronze wire. Rather than forming a solid shell, the individual sections work together much like scales, allowing a surprising degree of movement. Considerable planning clearly went into the design, suggesting that appearance alone was not the objective. What raises questions is the complete absence of wear. No impact marks, fractures, or repairs suggest that the armor ever saw combat. Its pristine condition has encouraged many scholars to view it as ceremonial equipment created specifically for burial. The first discovery led to dozens more. Before long, archaeologists had recovered 88 examples. Well, Qin was a real ruler. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.